The Mega Man games are considered some of the most notoriously difficult platformers on the NES. They have tight jumps, precise movement, and punishing enemy placement. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the most popular games in the franchise, Mega Man 2. We'll break it down stage by stage and put it to the test to see if it earns its reputation among difficult games. And we'll look at how that difficulty changes depending on whether you're playing the game casually or pushing the limits among a long list of speedrunners. We're going to rank every stage in Mega Man 2 and give it a score for how challenging it is. But in the NES era of games, the Mega Man franchise stands out as one of the very few that allowed you to choose in which order you played the game. Unlike most other games, you weren't put on rails and made to play each level in a predetermined order. Mega Man was in good company. Some of the other games that allowed for a more free choice style of gameplay included The Legend of Zelda, allowing you to choose which dungeons you played in pretty much any order, along with DuckTales and Bucky O'Hare, which both gave a true stage select option at the beginning of the game. Right from the beginning of Mega Man 2, you could choose any stage in any order. Other games controlled difficulty by controlling progression, but that simply was not the case with the Mega Man franchise. Obviously, when you beat a Robot Master in Mega Man 2, you get access to their abilities and sometimes additional items that make later stages significantly easier. Beating a stage with all the weapons and items is different from tackling that stage first with nothing but the Buster. So I had to find a suitable way to determine how hard a stage actually is as a standalone level in the game. After hours of intense brainstorming and problem solving, here's what I came up with. We're going to give each stage 2 scores. One score for the difficulty of the stage as it stands with no special items or weapons. This covers what it would be like casually if you chose to play this level first. And a second score for the difficulty if you played as a speedrun in the typical order. We're scoring between 1 and 10, where 1 is the easiest possible score. Think Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. And 10 is brutal, like Ghosts and Goblins or Battletoads, take your pick. But this is Mega Man 2. The first game in the franchise that gave us an easy mode. I know it's called normal, but the Japanese release of the game only had one difficulty, and it was the same as difficult on the North American release. Enemies took more hits to defeat, behaved differently when you attacked them, and bosses had a significantly larger health pool. For the purpose of this video, I will be using normal mode. Let's get into it. I'm going to go in the speedrun order while we dish out the scores, so we're starting with Flashman. More advanced speedruns choose Airman first, but that route is significantly more difficult and only saves about 1.5 to 2 seconds, so it's not required until you're approaching the top % of runners on the leaderboards. There are no instant kill traps or pits to fall into here like there are in most of the rest of the game. Flashman's stage is mostly about spacing and patience. The floors here have ice physics for some reason, and they can throw you off at first, but the enemies themselves are slow, predictable, and give you time to react. The heavy hitters here are the Sniper Joe mechs, and there's quite a few of them, but they can mostly all be bypassed, and they aren't that difficult to defeat with Buster, taking 10 shots, then you can just jump over Joe. There's an E-Tank here, so the stage is pretty much free. The tough part will be the boss fight. That time stopper can really be a bother if you're not used to the fight pattern or haven't mastered the physics of the floors. Overall, Flashman stage gets a 4 out of 10 for a casual playthrough. It's mid-tier, nothing too hard, but some good spots to slip up if you're not prepared, especially on the mechs. From a speedrun perspective, nothing ever goes wrong in Flashman. There's 1 or 2 tightly timed jumps, but by the time you're speedrunning this game, they're negligible, and the boss fight itself is easy. You can destroy Flashman before he even gets a chance to fire a shot. It's the first stage, you don't have any special weapons, so nothing really changes for the speedrun except maybe some precise routing, avoiding E-Tanks and health drops. But then, it's not exactly Sesame Street, so I'll give it a 2 out of 10 difficulty score. Airman starts you off with some tricky goblin jumps. We could use the time stopper we just got from Flashman to bypass them, but remember, we need to treat all the stages as if it was the first one we picked when we booted up the game. It will require some patience, but getting past this part should be pretty simple. Just wait for the spikes to retract and jump along. There might be one cloud jump that is a little tricky, but if you're unsure about it, you can just wait it out and the clouds will circle around again. All in all, it looks and feels scarier than it really is, given that Mega Man could fall to his doom at any time. This is by far the stage with the most pitfall space in the entire game. If you find yourself taking a lot of damage, these birds will drop an ungodly amount of HP and item power. And they're all over the stage, so you can fill up anytime you need to. Enter the boss fight. This can be a pretty tough boss casually, especially especially if you're entering the fight already having taken damage. He shoots tornadoes at you and pushes you back, so you're constantly trying to get a clean shot off. It can be done, but it requires some precision or good patterns, which are dictated by RNG, to hit him while the tornadoes are up. I'm giving Airman Stage a 5 out of 10 for a casual playthrough. It's trickier than Flash, you can die almost anywhere, and the boss fight is much harder, though still very doable. In an Airman first speedrun, this would score much higher. We're doing risky goblin jumps, forcing the clouds to spawn early, trying for despawns, and other strategies from our bag of tricks. But with Time Stopper equipped, we can bypass the first 3.5 goblins altogether, which eliminates a significant portion of the difficulty early on. I'm giving the Airman stage a 4 out of 10 for speedruns when doing Flash first. Here's where things really start to ramp up. We have Quickman, notorious for his cheese strings, laser beams, that instantly kill Mega Man if he touches them regardless of how much HP he has. This is where Mega Man 2 stops being polite. You get a little tutorial up front, and there's an E-Tank here, along with a 1-up, which you'll probably need to use right away. Most of the enemies here aren't too difficult. Capcom knew you had more to worry about in this stage. Quickman features 7 back-to-back rooms with lasers that are extremely punishing without Flashman's Time Stopper. There is no room for error here, like none. If you make a wrong turn or hesitate for even 1 second, Mega Man is toast. In the speedrun, we learn the laser rooms by muscle memory, so we don't even have to think about it anymore. We get through without Flashman's Time Stopper, but that's because we're all nuts. The Quickman fight is troublesome, whether you're playing for speed or not. He seems extremely random. He's not, but it definitely looks that way. He's jump happy and a little frantic. If you're coming into the fight with some damage from the earlier parts of the stage, it might be a challenge to beat him without using one of those E-Tanks you found. Quickman stage gets a 9 out of 10 for me on a casual playthrough. This is not an easy go. From a speedrun standpoint, especially once you're more used to Quickman's patterns in the boss fight and reach the point where you don't need Time Stopper for the lasers, we're looking at a 6 out of 10. So you want to pick Metal Man first. I understand why. The stage is relatively short, and the Metal Blade upgrade you get from beating the boss is entirely overpowered. But is it hard? No, not really. But look, there's an E-Tank here. The chain presses you find here are going to hit you the first couple of times. They're a pain when combined with the conveyor belts, but again, with some patience, you shouldn't have too much trouble here. If there is a difficult section of this stage, it's here, with these gear riders. This entire length of the stage can be really tricky, especially if you get caught up fighting on the conveyor belt. There's also an E-Tank here, but if you're starting with Metal Man first, you can't reach it. Metal Man himself is another jumper. Once you cross the middle of the arena, he's going to start bouncing back and forth. But here's a tip, if you stay on the left of this line, he will stay on the right and just shoot metal blades at you, drastically reducing the difficulty of the fight. So I'm going to give the Metal Man stage a 6 out of 10, mostly for that one section with the gears and the bouncy version of Metal Man. In speedruns, we already have Time Stopper, Item 2, and Quick Boomerangs, and we're going to use all of them. Combined with a little speed trick that stops Metal Man from shooting at you entirely, this stage is going to get an easy peasy speedrun score of 3 out of 10. Bubble Man is up next, and this stage starts off with something really tricky. These generic, off-brand Tetris blocks. They fall if you stand on them for too long, and too long is really just a handful of frames. In a speedrun, we use Item 2 to bypass this section altogether, because it's hard. But today, we decided to start with Bubble Man, so we only have the Buster. Just watch your step here. Bubble Man stage is on the more difficult end of Mega Man 2 while playing casually because of the spikes that line the ceiling. These things are almost everywhere down here, including the boss room. And when Mega Man is underwater, if you hold the jump button, he'll float all the way to the top of the screen, triggering an untimely end. Bubble Man is not a hard fight. He shoots a lot of projectiles, but he does not deal a lot of damage. So you can beat him easily, even if you just tank all the hits along the way. This stage gets an 8 out of 10 for a casual playthrough. Those Tetris blocks and instant kill spikes can be a handful. As a speedrun stage, the spikes really throw a wrench into my calculations. There are some really tight jumps in this hallway, and you have to reset and try again if you have one small slip up. I think it's trickier than Quickman because it relies on your ability to not overcommit to jumps instead of just memorizing directions, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for speedruns. We're in the Heat Man stage now. Let's just get this first bit out of the way so we can cut to the big stuff. These tellies, they're absolutely everywhere. This is true enemy spam, and probably the first showing of it in Mega Man 2. Let's just add a counter for them here, for science. Okay, the Heatman stage is pretty straightforward on the front end. Just watch your step because this stage rivals Airman for the amount of pitfalls you have to navigate. The good thing is the ground isn't moving around over the pits. Let's just get right to it. If you've already played or seen Mega Man 2, you know why this stage is hard. And you know why you don't want to choose it first. Yoku blocks. Heatman in Mega Man 2 has the longest and most precise grouping of Yoku blocks in the entire classic Mega Man franchise, maybe even across all Mega Man games, period. Nobody should play Heatman first. It's unfair, frustrating, and nothing leading up to this point has prepared us for this. I don't even know how I'm going to pull this off in the recording. Oh, I got it. This section isn't mechanically complex, it's just unforgiving. You need near-perfect timing and execution to survive without items here. I'm giving Heatman, casually, played first with no items, a 10 out of 10 for difficulty. And that's being generous. By the way, whichever dev decided to put this here is just diabolical. For speedruns, we use item 2, obviously, to bypass the Yoku blocks altogether, but it requires a lot of ammo management, because we also use it earlier in the stage to go fast, with some highly precise item placements. So even from a runner's perspective, Heatman can be a bit sweaty. I'm giving this stage an 8 out of 10 for speedruns. Woodman stage is fun, but there are a lot of enemies in this one. There is more variety, so it doesn't feel as much like spam as it did in Heatman. There are 2 parts you're likely to run into some difficulty. One is the hot dogs. Yeah, they're called hot dogs. These guys take 10 buster shots to be destroyed, and they act kind of uniquely as a wall, meaning you can't take a damage boost and walk through them. You have to destroy them to progress through this section. But the real problem you will face is Woodman himself. With Buster only, fighting him is no small feat. He has a patented leaf shield which blocks all attacks, even special weapons that you get later. Jumping over the shield is easy enough. The real trick is avoiding damage from the leaves that fall from the ceiling. I'm sure there's a way to do this. A safety pixel to stand on, a precise jump to make something, but for the life of me I haven't been able to figure it out. You're going to want to get into this fight with close to full HP. Then you can beat Woodman with 13 hits from the Buster. Between the variety of enemy types to work through and a tricky boss fight, I'm giving this stage a 7 out of 10 for difficulty in a casual playthrough. Speedrun score will be lower. There are some fun tricks we try to do, but nothing that could really end a run if we get it wrong. Not to mention Woodman is a one-hit knockout with a fully charged atomic fire. 4 out of 10 for speedruns. The final Robot Master, Crashman, is the only stage in Mega Man 2 that is almost entirely vertical. The difficulty in this stage comes from health management, because without items you're forced into unavoidable chip damage from birds. But look, there's an E-Tank here. It is easy to grab, which could come in handy for the boss fight. The only downside is, if you grab it here, the only way to get back up to where you came from is to go all the way to the bottom of this ladder and climb up again. The boss fight is where the real challenge is in this stage. Crashman with Buster only is no joke. He takes 14 shots from the Buster, but he jumps every time you fire and retaliates with an area of effect bomb of his own. Getting a clean Buster-only fight against Crashman requires a consistent and stable rhythm of jump shots that can be really tricky to master. As a casual stage, I'm giving this a 7 out of 10, and it's skewed that way mostly because of the boss fight. In speedrun order, Crashman is the last stage before Wily. We have all the weapons and items already, crash bombs excluded obviously, so getting through the stage is a relative breeze. I score Crashman a 4 out of 10. No classic Mega Man game is complete without its Wily stages. Of course, you can't stage select into Wily until you beat all the Robot Masters, so by this point, we know you have all the available weapons and items. One of the most challenging aspects of the Wily segments is weapon and item management. You don't get any free refills between stages here. Once you use an item or weapon, it's gone, unless you pick up a drop along the way. All of the Wily stages give you the chance to prove what you learned through the rest of the game. Nailing tight jumps, avoiding damage, and all-around precision gameplay are required here. Wily 1 through 3 are mostly about endurance and composure rather than raw execution, so I'll just highlight the most challenging points and hit them with a score. In Wily 1, the pressure comes from the lead up to the dragon fight. This is the only auto-scrolling section of Mega Man 2. If you pause or hesitate, you're done for. Casually, 8 out of 10. A simple 5 out of 10 for speedruns. Wily 2 tests reflexes with a boss that is literally the room itself, forcing constant movement under pressure as the walls dismantle themselves and attack you. Did I mention there's an E-Tank here, and this one's free? I give it a 7 out of 10 casually and a 5 out of 10 for speedruns. Wily 3 introduces one of the most dangerous drops in the game, where falling speed increases without a cap, and thanks to these spikes, mistakes are fatal if you don't know what's coming. That drop alone makes this an 8 out of 10 casually, but for speedruns, only a 4 out of 10. Now it comes to it then. Wily 4. This entire stage is just brutal. It ends more speedruns and frustrates more casual players than any other stage in the game, bar none. It demands near-perfect gameplay to reach the end, and rewards you with a boss room that requires every last drop of Crash Bomb energy to succeed. This stage is so widely despised for its difficulty that it earned itself the nickname Purple Hell. I have an entire video breaking down why Purple Hell is the hardest Wily stage in Mega Man history. The link is in the description below. Wily 4 gets a well-deserved score of 10 out of 10 for casual play and for speedruns. Wily 5 is the standard refight stage, taking on all the Robot Masters one last time. It scores 7 out of 10 for casual play and a 6 out of 10 for speedruns because we have to deal with mounting pressure following Purple Hell. And Wily 6 wraps up the game with a dangerous final boss fight. The alien deals massive damage on contact and can be punishing casually, earning 8 out of 10. For speedruns, it's manageable, 5 out of 10. With the addition of a normal mode and the abundance of speedrun tricks that simplify execution without completely removing challenge, Mega Man 2 ends up in a really unique place. We're not just talking about how hard any one boss fight is, the entire game requires consistent performance and focus, over 90 minutes or more, to finish the game casually. For speedruns, a third of that time on average. That is a long time to focus on precision and clean execution. Miss a jump, hesitate for a second, overcommit, overthink, the game will let you know about it. It's punishing, but it's fair. And taken as a whole, Mega Man 2 stands out to me as one of the hardest, easy games on the NES.